Hello, everyone. Welcome to another DCU Daily. I am John. Very nice to meet you if you are new, but if you are a regular, hello. Nice to see you again. We have, of course, a wonderful and an amazing show planned for you guys today. We have all the things. We've got Superman news. We've got tons of pop culture news. We got all the great things that you have come to enjoy about the show ready for you today. We got some MCU stuff. We got some really interesting other movie news and TV show news, and a lot of interesting news about upcoming John Wick spinoff, as well as Chad Stahelski commenting on the previous spinoff, and he said a lot of interesting things about that. So I'm going to introduce a new intro for you guys today. So why don't we get started with that, and then I can introduce my co-host and get it all started.
Okay, so I told James that probably she had some trauma when she was a kid, that she felt the need to be part of that change, whatever that means, and whatever she had to do to make it happen. But then I also think that they have a secret relationship, and I kept telling James, like, I feel like they and like Lex is so, he's so serious, and then he has this gorgeous girlfriend that he treats terribly. So I'm like, what if, after hours, Engineer gets really mean with Lex and he loves it?
Wow.
I don't know how I feel about that intro, but thanks for that, Dan. But here is Bridget with us today. Bridget, how are you doing on this wonderful, wonderful Friday, right? Yeah, it's Friday. I can't keep track anymore.
I know. I was like, I've been in a haze all day, to be honest, but I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad it's the weekend. And I am getting through it. I hope your week has been good.
That's pretty good, but getting through it is better than not getting through it. But we have all the news stuff in regards to, we've got some ballerina stuff, we got some first reactions for F1, got some stuff with Mr. Terrific and Mia Goth as well. So and speaking of Mia Goth, she is, doing a film with Ryan Gosling, and we need to let everyone know they're Knuff. So let's start that news intro and get into the news.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, hello again. So here we are back again to introduce the news. And the first thing we have today is talking about Ballerina, the upcoming, now released John Wick spinoff. And apparently, Ballerina is targeting a $26 to $30 million opening, as Lilo and Stitch laughs to number one with 32 to 34 million on this wonderful Friday. So what are your thoughts on do you have any thoughts about the John Wick franchise? Are you intrigued with this movie? Are you going to go see it? And do you think it has, the capability to maybe overtake its predictions, or do you think it's going to, just go straight into the dirt and not even compete with the Disney machine?
Yeah, It's hard. This is the third weekend of Stitch, right? This is the third.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's hard to predict, but I think there is always, of course, a possibility. I don't want to say never, but yeah, thinking about this, I'm definitely intrigued to see Ballerina myself. But I think, it's just going to be how the scores come out in Rotten Tomatoes. I think that's going to really influence people. If it does get enough traction, if it is as good, hopefully, as we want it to be, then I think it could get that momentum. But for now, it is. I think it depends. If it kind of slumps, it might stay at the 20 million, but hopefully, it could be better. But again, anyone who hasn't seen Lilo and Stitch yet might still be prioritizing that this weekend.
That's entirely possible. It's also a family movie. This is an R-rated action film. It did get 3.75 million in Thursday previews. I actually went to go see it today. I saw it earlier this afternoon. I won't be spoiling my thoughts. We're going to be talking about that next week when we do an Oh So Curious. But I'm just going to say it's a movie, and that's all you're going to get. You thought I was going to spoil it, but I didn't. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Not going to spoil it. So, I think oh, that's interesting, Caleb. Caleb saying he's tired of John Wick. The John Wickization of cinema is tiresome. I can kind of see that because it feels like now every single action movie has to be filmed like John Wick, making like the John Wick, even the stuff that's like actually in that universe. And now it's like, okay, we've seen this song and dance before. Let's kind of get it going. And I think I am still excited for any other action movies, and anything similar. Yes. I mean, yes, that's obvious, but I still think that's a pretty, okay number for a spinoff to a movie that hasn't really gotten a lot of advertising or anything like that.
Right.
So I think Ballerina will do okay, especially when the budget was something. Hang on, let me just look it up real quick. Was about 80 to 90 million. So I think it'll maybe get that in a couple of weeks. It possibly could be a bomb because that's more of like a mid-range budget film nowadays. So yeah, I mean, Caleb, you have voiced that before. I think they're two very different kind of things. It's just like the action is similar and it's, produced by the same people. So I think nobody has a little bit more fun with itself. And I think seeing like Saul Goodman beat the shit out of people is just inherently fun to watch. So no, Ballerina was not going straight to Peacock. You're probably thinking of The Continental, which we will be getting into later.
Yeah. TV show.
That's fair. I mean, but to be fair, like my favorite movie of all time has multiple dogs dying, so I've kind of subsided with that.
Is it all dogs go to heaven?
Argument. But yeah, I think Ballerina is definitely, definitely some interesting sort of like addition into this. We're also going to be getting Life of Chuck in select theaters, and then we're also going to be getting into another film that's coming out, but I forgot what it was because I know we had three previews from the Oh So Curious this week. So we have a whole thing, but I think with that, Caleb, I think you might like Ballerina because there is some like very small. It's not as funny as Nobody, but there is
a little bit of satire.
Not satire, but like there's a few more jokes in there. I think like you might appreciate Ballerina. What it is, but even then, I hope Ballerina gets the money it deserves. But it is more, mid-range rather than like super high budget and then super low budget. Getting its mark. Mid-range budget movies are pretty much dead and are usually bombs because of whatever reason.
Yeah, just not
maybe
fair.
It's marketing or something like that. But yeah, I wish the best for Ballerina, but it's predicted for 26 to 30 million, and it did make 3.75 million. But moving on to DC related stuff before we get into DCU Daily proper, Eddie Gathegi was talking Mr. Terrific a little bit, but he did confirm that his mask is nanotechnology. He's like, it's not paint, it's nanotechnology. It's not like Arrow where they just paint a black T on the face and it's just like that's it. No, they confirm that it is in fact nanotechnology, which probably adds into the whole like disguise of like, oh, nobody believes this guy is Michael Holt. Maybe. I don't know how they're gonna have that in the film. I don't know if he's known or not known, but what are your quick thoughts on this? I know you're as excited as everyone else for Superman, but is this like an exciting bit of like, oh, little comic accuracy, or do you not really care in the end?
I mean, the fact that it is sticking to that, I'm sure, I mean, for any fans that know, it's, I'm sure, a relief, especially if they thought, oh, it could be painted on. Yeah, I may think it's good to know. It's good to know, hey, they're following their P's and Q's and doing what they should be, and just helping to bring the real story to life. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see. I mean, I felt it was kind of obvious with how like it was set up with everything, but it was nice for Gathegi to say, hey, it is, and it's a small thing he actually can reveal, because I'm sure there's a reason James Gunn is called James Gunn. He's probably like, you better not spoil anything about this movie, Eddie. You better not spoil. Just like staring down the bear, just like I'm just gonna be behind the curtain. I have this Glock. Just don't say anything, Eddie. He's like, all right, I'll say this small thing. Can I say this small thing? Yes, you could say that small thing. And boom, there you go. Yeah. But that's not the only thing he was talking about in terms of his mask, but he was also talking about the next generation of kids. He's like, I'm excited to inspire a whole new generation of young Black kids. I know in this day and age, that's like bad to say now, because now it's like, oh, it's political, oh, it's woke, oh, it's this thing. But it's like, considering we've had really big, like huge characters like Black Panther really coming into the forefront, like characters that don't fall into stereotypes that much, like really intelligent characters that worked hard to get to where they were, which is like what Mr. Terrific was. He worked hard his whole life and got to where he was in a good place. He's one of the smartest men in the DC universe. He has like 14 PhDs. He's a huge character. So I think this is really awesome to see, and I hope that like Mr. Terrific does hopefully become a household name because of this. But what are your thoughts on what he has to say about the upcoming generation that he will hopefully inspire with Superman?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's always great just to have any representation, to even just show young kids, maybe young people that want to be in the film industry, that it's possible, and to see people that that they can look up to, a great role model. And then it's always, I'm sure, really exciting and of course really fulfilling to see, especially in the young kids' eyes when they see a movie and they get really excited. Yeah. Of course, it's superheroes, like, and that's pretty awesome.
And we usually like go towards that. Like for years, it was like Disney, and like as well as like I remember there was like a great I know, speaking of Arrowverse, Caleb, but there was a great episode of Legends of Tomorrow where George Lucas, like they took George Lucas out of history, and like two of the people that became who they were because of his movies were like now like totally like history was like starting to correct itself, and they didn't know what to do anymore, because they were like, one person became an archaeologist or an archivist because of Indiana Jones, and the other became a scientist because of Star Wars. So like, what do we do now? So I thought that was cute, like something like that. And I hope that like, yeah, Mr. Terrific does reach that point of like, this guy becomes a household name. Yeah. And, I love to see it. I love that he's like talking about that, but I know people are going to get up in their stuff about it, but we're not going to focus on that. Yeah, we're going to focus on the positives that Superman will bring to hopefully a lot of people, and not just Superman, and not just these characters we know and love, but people like Mr. Terrific, and maybe not Guy Gardner, but like it depends. It depends on who you are, and Hawkgirl, depending on how her character is. So yeah, this is great to see. This isn't the only Superman news story that we have until later on, but I just noticed there's a face right there. I don't know if that. I just realized there's a face right there. I don't know if this was
Oh.
edited or like I think somebody edited this in there without realizing it.
Oh, that's so funny. It's like the screen reflection.
No, I don't. That's a face. I'm not crazy. That's a face.
That
Right
is. I see the eyes.
Funny. Yeah, that's fucking creepy. Anyway, I just noticed that. I don't know if like the person did this on purpose or like they just found an image and it was just like weird. Anyway, let's move on from that. But so as we saw in the intro, Maria Gabriela de Faria on her vision of the engineer and Lex Luthor's secret relationship, I kept telling James Gunn, and I think they fucked, what if like after hours and like how that meant with Lex and how we would play it. Yeah, I think what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is correct in any way, or do you think this is just like I'm adding a little something that's probably not going to be addressed at all?
Right. I guess she had to give her character some kind of backstory, and that's where she went with it. But that's kind of funny to know. I would not have guessed it, that that's what she was thinking. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I guess she's manifesting. Maybe she's putting it out there, and
maybe that's entirely possible.
What
Also,
happening with that spinoff.
Steven saying you look amazing today, so thank you, Steven. And I'm not disrespecting Guy Gardner.
Aww.
I'm just saying like he's not exactly role model material. If we're going like proving anyone can be a Green Lantern, I would say my girl Jessica Cruz, but that's beside the point. I don't know. I think this is a kind of funny thing to address in regards to these characters and whatnot. So yeah, I think this is definitely an interesting way of tackling the character. But moving on to what's up?
I said she's not holding back, that's for sure.
No, although Dan's saying it's spicy, the engineer. But moving on to our next news story in regards to F1. Apparently, the first reactions have come out that Brad Pitt's racing epic, I like the sound of that, racing epic, is a great, bold school summer blockbuster that's so freaking good. What are your thoughts on this? It's old? It feels like an old school traditional movie, but like modern, and they said it's so freaking good. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think you're gonna now go out? I don't know if you were interested. Were you interested in seeing this at all, or were you aware of it? Or
I was.
Okay,
because we had talked before about I forget the movie similar to what Tom Cruise had done back in the 80s.
It was Days of Thunder. I keep making fun
Days
of
of
the
Thunder.
fact
That's what you keep forgetting. Yes,
Days of Thunder.
And I know they had that similar comparison because I think this had the same DP as they used in Maverick. So obviously there is a similarity there, and maybe that's why it feels old school too, because I feel like obviously there was kind of an old school feel to the Top Gun as well.
Yeah.
Stemming off of the original.
I mean, it does have since it has the same director, it makes sense. You have like a old, I don't want to say old school because he wasn't like he's not like, from the 70s or anything like that, but like kind of like an old school hero character, old school star with Brad Pitt. You have your mainly older actors in this movie, with the exception of Damon Idris, who I think is late 20s, early 30s. So I think this is really exciting for this movie. I think this it's a step in the right direction. I hope that it gets all the money, all the critical praise, all the audience praise, because it looks like at the very least a very thrilling movie. So what do you hope for something like Top Gun Maverick, or do you think it'll kind of just have that sensibility, but kind of go in its own direction.
Yeah, I guess it hopefully it does kind of find a new path for itself. So it's not like an exact copy of kind of like this, what we've seen, but instead of jets, we have cars. I think hopefully it is going to kind of lean into its own sort of thing. But I mean, I'm excited to watch it. This is something I would definitely watch with like my dad, because he also loves all those like kind of British sports cars as well. So I think this is something that would be just right up his alley.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome, and this looks really awesome. So,
I'm excited.
although Monique is wondering something, wonder if the positive reviews means it will be a bigger box office. I don't know, because sometimes, negative reviews do tank a movie. Like you have Snow White, which tanked both financially and critically / audience wise.
Yeah.
And then, but then you could have really positive movies make a ton of money, or make no money. Sorry, a lot of positive reviewed movies make no money. Lots of negative reviews like make a lot of money. There's there's a lot of intricacies. Like sometimes it's the release date, who the intended audience is, as Dan likes to say, the 4-quadrant movie. So I don't know. I hope positive reviews means a bigger box office, but the thing is, this isn't getting advertised that much. Maybe they're just waiting a little bit. But I mean, it comes out in a couple weeks, so I can't imagine they're waiting for a lot. But I haven't seen I've seen some trailers, but I feel like they have not been marketing this that well. Meanwhile, M3gan 2.0 has been marketed to hell. Now she has her own AMC Silence is Golden trailer after the Lilo and Stitch one. So that also doesn't help. And this is like, it's Apple. They're usually hit or miss. Sometimes they have a really good hit. And they're, really good with their TV side. But sometimes they get something like Argyle, which is not very good, or Killers of the Flower Moon, which was a critical darling, but it didn't get enough money at the box office. So I think it's just, I don't know. I don't think positive reviews mean anything anymore. Like, does it help like to see a good movie? Of course it does. I want to see a good movie. I want to pay to see a good movie. But sometimes that just doesn't matter. Sometimes people like slop, like M3gan 2.0, when that is coming out the same week. And people like seeing like the same thing over and over again. So I hate to sound so cynical, but that sometimes it just hits, like whether it's the release date, the quadrants, the demographics, sometimes it's right place, right time. And that's what happens with this. I hope this helps it, because I want to see this do well.
I know.
Mainly because I want him to show Disney, like, hey, you didn't do my Tron 3, and now your Tron 3 looks like Garbo, and guess what? My movie is doing amazingly at the box office. So that's what my hope is. I just want him to show off to Disney.
A moment,
yeah. You finally doing Tron 3 without me? Well, F1 did well, so screw you. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know if it'll be a better Days of Thunder movie, Caleb. And as you said, Thunderbolts was apparently really good. It still lost money. It seems like dad movies are what I usually see. I guess so. And Megan 2.0, it'll make money because a lot of people love it. It's going so different with the sequel. It's buying into the whole bad movie shtick when I don't get how sometimes they're popular, sometimes not, but when you're in on the joke, it just doesn't work for me. But yeah, I think we spent a little bit too much time on this, but I'm just really excited for F1. I think this is great to see, and I love talking about it. So, I hope the best for it, and Apple can maybe hit a stride with movies, because, they're doing great with TV, but their movies are just hit or miss. So hopefully this is a good future for them. But going from one major company to another, we're talking Star Wars. Apparently, Mia Goth is going to play the villain opposite Ryan Knuff Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter. Now, it was revealed a couple months back that Sean Levy is going to be directing a new Star Wars film, and it was then revealed a month or two ago that it's going to be called Star Wars Starfighter, and it's going to star Ryan Gosling of all people. And now they're branching out their huge, well, maybe huge, maybe not, their big, their next Star Wars movie, the glorious return of Star Wars on the big screen after they've been focusing on TV for so long. And that Mia Goth is playing the villain. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this an exciting addition? Do you think she's making a huge mistake? We know that Mikey Madison definitely left. They asked her, but she said no. Either some people say it was a pay dispute, some people said she just didn't want to do it. So thoughts on this addition of Mia Goth in the next Star Wars movie?
It is interesting. It's also interesting too when it's like publicly that someone refused, so she's stepping in. It also, I guess, depends how much they have of the script too. I wonder if that was a big decision. If it, again, wasn't just a character she felt like she fit with Mikey. So it's. I mean, obviously she's had major success in the as Pearl in the X-Men movies. I can obviously see her in this kind of villainous role. I mean, I also feel like with a name like Goth, I've always kind of seen her like, I just feel like it makes sense, being like that. In some ways, I don't know why, but I'm like getting like visions of it. For some reason, I'm kind of reminded of like the Furiosa movie with, I know it wasn't her. It was that other actress that I can't name.
Oh.
I just don't remember her name. But
sorry, I don't know who you're talking about.
All right, I'm gonna look it up real quick. It's gonna drive me crazy.
But Mia Goth, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where I'm on the fence about it. Like, I hope she becomes a bigger star, but at the same time that I'm like, I love Mia Goth, and her degrading herself by being in a Star Wars movie is kind of sad to see.
Yeah, you think it's a step down.
Yeah, it's a step down from her.
Passed on the opportunity.
Yeah, I think Mia Goth, I think she just wants to further her career, which is fine. Like, she wants to be in bigger stuff. So maybe it's just a smart career move. I mean, look at, Robert Pattinson as Edward Cullen. He just did it to forward his career. He hates those movies, and now he's Batman. So, he clearly made all the right steps to get to where he is. So maybe this is just for Mia Goth. This is just a paycheck, and she'll just further her career because of it. So
someone's going to do the dirty work, and then eventually you'll be able to wash your slate clean, and people will forget, hopefully.
I think it's Mia Goth after, that Blade movie isn't happening. They're like, all right, I'm going from one Disney sub franchise to the other. We're going from Marvel to Star Wars. So, a little sad, but I guess, if you want to do it, you can. I mean, maybe she's in a studio apartment somewhere and needs the money. So, I mean, good for her if she's happy in doing that. But that is about it for the regular news today. But now, don't fret, ladies and gents, because we're going to be getting into the quick hits. Let's turn on that bossa nova elevator music, and let's get banner. And Dan, all these wonderful graphics he makes for us, and amazing to see. But keeping on with the Star Wars train, the first quick hit we have is that Mark Hamill is done. He says, I had my time in the Star Wars franchise. He has no plans to return as Luke Skywalker. They should focus on the future and all the new characters. Thoughts on this?
Interesting. I mean, it sounds like he wants to retire, but I feel like I won't say what he's saying is set in stone, because actors will say things like this and then make an appearance years later when they catch the bug again. So I don't know, but
hello, Hunter Iggy.
I feel what he's probably, again, like how often can you play the same chord? I think he
He just wants to focus on Stephen King adaptations because he's in 2 of them this year, so it seems like that's the case.
He's ready to move.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, he's like, I came back for the new trilogy, and there's not really much I can do in the future except come up as a ghost. So I would say if they want to do prequel stuff with Luke, like with Mandalorian, then just bring in a new actor. Maybe, hopefully, don't CGI his face and just get Sebastian Stan. But maybe this will like showcase like, hey, don't rely too much on nostalgia, but at the same time, don't do stupid risky moves, Disney, and just make good content. But it seems like that's just impossible for Star Wars. But moving on to the next thing, apparently first reactions for Celine Song's The Materialist, and they're saying it's pretty good. So it's been described as, a nice, good feeling rom-com, and a bunch of people have liked it, and apparently people are calling it an elevated romantic drama, romantic comedy. But thoughts on this? Pumped to see it, or you're like, nah, I still won't see it?
I watched a trailer, and I know we talked about it for a minute, and he said, oh, it's kind of like Hitch in a way, but reversed female. And
yes,
and of course that's such a classic movie, so I was like, oh, maybe there's something, it's got that seed of something, and it could be good. Definitely a different tone to this, but it did pique my interest for sure. I know I can't even remember the last thing I saw Dakota Johnson in, but I feel like this is a good role for her, so yeah, I'd definitely be interested. I miss rom-coms, so count me in.
Yeah, so I mean, this isn't my type of thing. I didn't really care for Past Lives, and I don't really care for this. But I hope for the people that like it, enjoy it, and it becomes a nice, modest hit. But next thing, going to the music side of things, apparently Sabrina Carpenter just dropped the song of the summer with Manchild. Do you listen to Sabrina Carpenter? And with that, did you listen to this new song, or do you care, or what's up?
I do like the title. I'll say that. I haven't heard it, but I'm piqued. My interest is piqued to at least give it a listen. To be honest, though, her music is just not my taste. It's hard to even escape, to be honest, but I do find, it's just kind of just innuendos, and it gets boring. So,
all right, fair enough. I don't like modern pop, so not my thing. And looks like she's kind of ripping off the cover of Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, but that's just the Pink Floyd fan in me. But going on to a quick hit for Superman, kind of, sort of. But Robert Pattinson, Batman, quote unquote, joins the DCU with his own fan-made character poster. Oh God, I'm so sorry I didn't get a chance to mute it. I apologize for that, ladies and gents.
You're good.
But here he is. He's getting like a cute character poster, even though he's not in the DCU, as James Gunn and Robert Pattinson have said multiple times. He's not in the DCU, guys, but this is a cute character poster. What are your thoughts on this nice little character poster?
Yeah, it's funny. If I didn't know it was a joke, I probably would have believed it. So,
yeah, I mean, I agree with Monique. Honestly, I listen to pre 2000s, 90s music, because usually 90s is kind of downhill a little bit, but I still listen to a couple tracks here and there. Yeah. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Even though he's not in the DCU, guys, he's not. So get over it. Anyway, now we're flowing into the next hit. Flow continues its historic box office run, passing 50 million, I believe that's euros, milestone. The Oscar winner won Best Animated Feature technically for last year, a couple months back, beating out Disney and DreamWorks, the two big companies for this small indie, I believe it's Latveria, it's an Eastern European country.
Latvia, I think.
Latvia. I think Latveria is in, I think that's Marvel. Anyway, yeah, that's Dr. Doom's Country. Whoopsie daisies. But yeah, it's a Latvian film. And what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of kicking myself that I still haven't watched it because I watched the Oscars this year, and when they kept winning everything, I was like, oh, okay, this is clearly a good movie. And I think it doesn't have any dialogue in it either. So it's not, it's definitely different than what we usually see. And I should see it. It's on my bucket list, and I might soon.
I'm definitely curious about it. It's based around a group of animals after the world gets flooded and how they survive. So yeah, it's definitely on my list, but still haven't gotten a chance to watch it. But going from one cute animal to the other, apparently Care Bears is making a huge comeback. We are getting a Care Bears movie in the works from Josh Greenbaum at Warner Brothers. So apparently producers for the project include Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, who worked on a multitude of movies like Vacation, Game Night, and the Spider-Man movies. So what are your thoughts on this? Were you a big Care Bear fan? Were you not?
I am so stoked for this. I definitely remember seeing that movie a ton of times. One of my favorites was Care Bears Journey to Jokes a lot. I would watch that all the time. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So I am so excited, and good luck there. It was even the other day, I was I wonder if they still, I don't know if you remember those really big, 36-inch bears, but I really always wanted one, and I still need to fill that void somehow.
Yeah, so it's definitely very, very exciting. He hasn't really worked on a lot of children's films. Josh Greenbaum famously directed the Will and Harper documentary, as well as the upcoming Spaceball sequels, and also directed another, cute animal feature with Strays, although that was definitely more R-rated than anything. But so I'm curious how he's going to work with a child-friendly property. But hey, you know what? Other directors have made the jump, like Phil Lord and Chris Miller, went from the Jump Street movies to the Lego movie. So, you know what? It has happened before, and they were producers on Strays. So maybe this could work. I'm not really a Care Bears fan, so I'm not going to watch it, but I wish the best, and Care Bears will hopefully be introduced to a new generation of children. But the next thing we have, apparently Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value gets November release date as Neon plans robust awards campaign. Thoughts on this? Do you think Neon is going to be up for more Oscars after their big Anora win, or do you think this is going to fall flat?
I mean, it'll definitely give them buzz. I think, Anora was great. So I think, at least I really enjoyed it. So I think, it depends. Hopefully it is. And I know that, even at the awards, they were get indie films more spotlight. So hopefully this is going to be a win for them.
I hope so too. I never saw Nora, but I heard great things, so I hope this is another win for them. Next thing is a big one. So John Wick director Chad Stahelski slams the first spinoff of the John Wick franchise, which was the Continental miniseries, the 3-episode miniseries that premiered on Peacock. Apparently our opinion was not really noted. Keanu and I were, I wouldn't say sidelined, but our opinion was heard and not really noted. The studio tried to convince me they knew what they were doing. A group of individuals thought they had the magic sauce, but if you take out Basil Iwanik's producing intuitiveness, if you take out Keanu's way of delivering quirky dialogue, and if you take out all the visuals I have in my head from Wong Kar-wai, Anime, Leone, Bernardi Bertucci, and Andrei Tchaikovsky, then it's not the same thing. They thought this was as easy as using anamorphic lenses, do a kooky hotel, put in weird dialogue, and insert crime drama. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think did you ever see the Continental? And if you did, does this make sense or what?
No, but I can understand that frustration he would have if someone is doing a spinoff and it's just totally off what the original is. And I kind of think that's great, just what he said. At least he's being honest.
Yeah, and my bad, it was 3 episodes. It was on Peacock in the United States, and then Prime in internationally, but Winston Scott, it was like an alternate history for the John Wick franchise, how he became the manager of the Continental, and Mel Gibson was in it, and they tried to make it a real, like a regular TV show, but they couldn't they shopped it around, couldn't make it work, and then it came back as a mini series, and I heard pretty much mixed to negative things about it. So a couple people said it was pretty good, but for the most part it was middling to negative, and it just didn't really work. And part of the reason why I was so worried about Ballerina was because this was not very well received. So I thought, oh, we're gonna have another bad spinoff. But no, this is just because they didn't listen to the head honcho of this franchise, and look how that turned out. So yeah, it's sad to see that they didn't listen to him. You can read the full quote and article, because it's definitely an interesting read. But hope Chad Stileski, even with I think there's like 4 upcoming spin-offs outside of the Chapter 5, which is supposed to due to come out soon, which he said they were working on. So let's see how the Wickiverse is going to continue without the main movies spearheading it, and how the cinematic universe holds up. But next thing, we got Martin Short with Only Murders in the Building. He had, obviously this is a show that has tons of famous guest stars, and apparently Martin Short reached out to Bill Murray to be like, hey buddy, can you maybe sort of guest star on the show? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Bill Murray would fit in well, or do you think, nah, he had his time, let's not bother him?
I mean, I could definitely see him in this type of show. I mean, I watched, I think I watched the whole first season. For me, I'm personally not a huge fan of the show. It's just not my kind of thing. I mean, I love Steve Martin, and I don't know. I can totally see what he's saying, but will I be watching it? Probably.
I mean, I don't think that's weird. Like, I think all directors hope their movies will be good. I think that's, maybe it's just like lack of confidence that has you worried, but I think that's fine. I think he just hopes it'll be good, because the thing is, it's a known franchise. Pretty much the only things people like about it is the fact that it's the first movie in the TV show. All the other movies are kind of terrible. So, I think he just hopes like this will be another good entry in the franchise. I don't think he meant anything by like, well, it sucks, but I hope it'll be good to some people. I don't think he meant it like that. But the last quick hit we have, apparently Sydney Sweeney reacts to leaked Euphoria wedding dress photos. I can't confirm or deny Cassie gets married. Who knows? That could be AI. Do you watch Euphoria? And if you do, did you see these photos or not? Or are you excited? Are you not? Or do you not watch the show at all?
I mean, yeah, I know of the show. I haven't watched it, so didn't even know there was a wedding. I've just obviously seen the memes, but yeah, I'm not really invested in that world. I guess my head's been under a rock, so I don't really have any input on the show, but I think it's a great way to at least handle it. I mean, although she basically is just confirming it, I feel like.
Yeah. Obviously, can't really say much, but that is unfortunately the end of Quick Hits, guys. I know, very sad day, but kind of ending on a lackluster thing. But I don't watch Euphoria either, so I can't really say a ton. But now we will be getting into MCU Weekly, and then finally DCU Daily. So get pumped for that. But I did want to let you guys know. Sorry, a little bit of a mental typo there. But thanks for watching the news portion of the show. Obviously, we're not done yet. As I said, MCU Weekly is coming up. But make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Keep commenting. We're gonna try and showcase more of your lovely comments that you leave for us, and and even if you're not watching live, then I do very much hope that you leave some good comments, because we are going to be talking about your comments, the post live comments at the end of the show today. So leave a comment. Maybe you might be shown later on in the week on the Friday. So like, leave those comments. But that about does it. And let's get into MCU Weekly. Well, we have a little bit, not a ton, but hopefully we can breeze right on very quickly. But first things first, apparently Daredevil Born Again Season 2 star teases Jessica Jones's big role, and now the author of this is very much more excited. Now, first things first, I did want to ask, have you ever watched the Daredevil Netflix show, or have you watched Born Again, or did you watch Jessica Jones or anything like that?
I didn't. I only know the original movie, but yeah, I haven't watched any of the Netflix series. And I know of Jessica Jones, I just haven't watched it.
Right. Okay. So I think this, they were, Charlie Cox, head of the show as Daredevil. He was, teasing it. He says, what's complicated is when did Jessica Jones find out that I'm not dead? Because at the end of Defenders, everyone assumes I'm dead. I have no recollection of when she finds out, and I don't even know if that happens on or off screen. But essentially, look, enough time has passed that you just assume that obviously happened. And they were, that makes sense. Because in the Defender show, a building collapses on Daredevil. He says to Iron Fist, protect my city. And that's exactly what he does in his own show, as well as the others. But yeah, it's pretty much unknown. But it seems pretty obvious that, for season 3, it was pretty much well noted that he kind of came back and defeated Kingpin. And then on top of the fact, his, the stuff that happens in Born Again would catch her eye. So I feel like it would make a lot of sense that that she would know that all of this comes back to Daredevil, and he's very much alive. But he did continue talking about it. He said the fun thing about Jessica and Matt is they have a pretty fun dynamic. There's a mutual respect for one another. I think she finds him overly serious and too much of a choir boy, and he finds her to be crass and making light of too many very serious situations, and she's probably a bit more anti-hero than hero. They're very fun to write. Dario Scartapane saying they're very fun to write. When I got a chance to see them in frame together for the first time, it was the best. So both Charlie Cox and the showrunner are teasing Jessica Jones's role in the series. I'm curious to know what your guys' thoughts on this. Obviously, leave your comments. Enterprising says it's marvelous. Very nice. Very, I gotta fix myself a little bit right there. I apologize. But look, this stream is brought to you by Guinness. I'm just kidding, but in the future, Guinness, maybe. But Enterprising, well, it seems like what they're doing, if Born Again continues on for at least 4 seasons, they're probably going to feature Luke Cage in season 3, and then probably Iron Fist in season 4. It seems like we're going to get a Defenders reunion at some point. So that's very exciting. But, I think it's... I still have yet to see what the word is. I still have yet to see Born Again. I'm still kind of on the fence because pretty much everyone said that it's really not that great, and they it maybe I hope that with this future show, obviously it will never be as good as the original Netflix show, but I hope that maybe the first season had its issues, but then it'll continue on into something a little bit more maybe memorable, maybe a little bit better. But moving on from the one TV show to another, next we have Marvel Studios confirming Ironheart's odd MCU timeline placement. They're, despite the fact nobody's really excited for the show and nobody's probably going to watch it, the only trailer it got was released the same day as Superman, so it seems like Marvel and Disney don't really have a ton of confidence in this show. It was greenlit during the Chapek era. So even though her appearance in Black Panther Wakanda Forever was not met with kindly, I don't know if people are going to watch this. Were you even aware of this show, Bridget?
Honestly, no. But yeah, as you said, if they're releasing the trailer the same day as Superman, it seems like they kind of want to bury it almost.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that definitely seems like the case. But they did address something interesting. So they posted this officially on the website, on the Marvel website. Said after the events of Wakanda Forever, Ironheart follows Riri as she returns to her hometown in Chicago, determined to build a state-of-the-art iron suit and make her mark on the world. Her time in Wakanda has left her more eager than ever to pursue her dreams, and her quest entangles her in a dangerous world of science and magic. We saw that with Anthony Ramos's character, who is the Hood, who is in tune with more magical properties. So it was interesting how a character heavily entrenched in science is going up against someone who is heavily entrenched in magic, and bring those those types of things together. So yeah, it was kind of in an awkward place now because of the Strange Summit, because of it kept getting delayed. As I said, it was a Chapek era green light, and then Brave New World got delayed a bunch. This got delayed a bunch, and it feels like this is the remnants of a bygone era, and they kind of just want to get it over with.
Yeah. So unfortunate, but yeah.
But we do have stuff from a scooper, so take it lightly. It probably doesn't mean anything. Ironheart held reshoots from February to April in 2024. Brad Winderbaum, who is the head of Marvel Television, explained the Ironheart delays to Comic Book Phases Zero podcast. He noted that while there was a mandate to create as much Disney Plus content as fast as possible, there was eventually a shift where they had to start spreading their release dates out, which does make sense. Kevin Feige, I think, addressed that. Maybe Bob Iger did as well, where now they're going to focus on quality instead of quantity, and they're not going to just keep pumping things out. Kevin Feige kind of got his position kind of nerfed a little bit, but then when Bob Iger came back in, he got back to his full position. And he was saying, Brad Winderbaum was saying, frankly, in all honesty, there was a mandate to kind of create as much as we could for Disney Plus as quickly as we could, and then there was a shift, and all of a sudden we have to start spreading our release dates out, so that really accounts for a lot of delays. Now we're using that time. We're not sitting idle, so it stays in the oven. You can bake certain things a little bit more. It's actually, I think, ultimately, it's only going to make things better, but most of it's frankly shrapnel from the business. So, Brad Winderbaum is trying to pump up this show that not a ton of people are interested in, and it definitely seems like the case. But a lot of people are saying odd placement. We screwed the pooch on our reorganization. Yes, I think that's definitely the case. I think Brad Winderbaum is kind of making excuses. I'll probably watch it. Coogler is still tied to it. Yeah, maybe he can bring a little bit of a spark in there and make it at least kind of good. And I hope they bring more of Stark's legacy into this. So, I hope it's not just her. They kind of bring in a little bit of that, because that makes more sense than,
right,
Spider-Man being like Iron Man's little acolyte. But I do I wish anything bad to happen to Marvel? It's just I guess in the long run, I wish badness only in a weird sort of way, just for them to learn from their mistakes and start giving us better content.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't I kind of I think it just comes from the fact they need to fail before they make things better, kind of like a phoenix rising from the ashes kind of thing. Because I do love Marvel. I'm going to be watching Fantastic Four. I'm going to be watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 and anything else that interests me. I still might watch Born Again. Maybe if Season 2 is confirmed to be a lot better, maybe I'll trudge through Season 1 and hopefully we can get something better. But yeah, it just seems like this was
what
not
you don't
the
like
best decision.
Right. Some of the crappy choices they still are making. It's just, it's not.
and it's just like, they created Thor: Love and Thunder. Ugh, guys, that was just not great. But I think this is I think this is just Brad Winderbaum making excuses, and he's just kind of like hoping people will watch the show, even though it's like it seems like Marvel doesn't have a ton of confidence in it. And I think I'm always going to give my fellow sisters a chance to shine. Yeah, of course. Like if you're interested in it, then obviously watch it. I just have I don't really know much about Riri Williams as a character. I just know a little bit from her comic book introduction and a little bit from her MCU introduction, and that's kind of it. I don't know a ton about the character, so it doesn't really interest me on that front. And it seems like, as I keep saying, Marvel doesn't have a ton of confidence, so I don't have a ton of confidence to watch it. So what's the point? But moving on to the next thing, speaking of Ryan Coogler, apparently, Denzel Washington said a couple months back that he had a cameo, and he was like, "Oh, wait, I might not have should have said that." But now Ryan Coogler, who is still directing Black Panther 3, he has confirmed that Denzel Washington will appear in the threequel to the Black Panther franchise. And he had this to say: "I think he's the greatest living actor." Honestly, you're probably right. And in terms of what he means to our culture, forget about it. I've been talking to him about this for a long time. Now, he did say that he had, a role in it, but I conferred that as, oh, it's Denzel Washington in a Marvel movie. He probably has like a teeny tiny cameo appearance. But with the way Ryan Coogler is talking about it, do you think it's a lot bigger? Do you think he has a substantial supporting character role in the film? Or do you think he's just kind of pumping him up because Denzel Washington is motherfucking Denzel Washington, and you got to pump up Denzel Washington, and it's still just kind of a really small role or cameo?
I mean, I hope not. Because I just from what I infer from what he said, the way he's saying, he means a lot to the culture. He's great. We want to have him in this movie. We've been talking about this for ages. It makes me feel like it's because he's going to be more than just, a walk on, walk off kind of thing in the back. I'm thinking that it is something more substantial, hopefully. But that's just what I'm getting from the way he talks about it.
Yeah. But I think he might be getting, personally, I think he might be getting a little bit more of a substantial role now. Maybe not like huge or anything. I don't think he's going to be like the villain of the movie. Right. I mean, watch me eat crow a couple months later when it's revealed he's the villain of the movie. But I still think, it's like maybe they're taking advantage of it. Like, hey, Denzel Washington is going to be in Black Panther 3.
Well,
sure,
give him a good supporting. Yeah.
Screw it. But I think he might just be a major supporting character. Maybe he's like who would be cool? He would be like kind of this like mentor character for Shuri. Maybe he's like not a long lost, but like he's like this kind of, since Wakanda is like kind of like a mix between modern and old and like very much old school like African values and what they are in the Wakandan culture. I think he might be like an older traditional kind of mentor character, not like maybe like a shaman type character who like maybe he like gives Shuri or these characters like some like maybe magical knowledge or like science fiction knowledge and all that. But I think that would be a really cool character for him. But Enterprising asking, because this was the other big Black Panther news that came out in regards to the comics. Any comments on the controversy over T'Challa's new biracial son in the comics? Now, Bridget, I will catch you up to speed. It has been revealed in an alternate universe comic book from Marvel that Black Panther has a son and he's biracial, but he appears to be white. And some people have commented that a white guy shouldn't be Black Panther. But do you have any thoughts on that, or do you just not really care about the comics?
Well, I don't. I've only kind of dipped my toe into the comic book world, so I think I have the right to say anything about that, right? Because I'm not part of it. But that's really interesting. But I can understand too why people feel that way.
Yeah, I think Honestly, I think it's just like a publicity stunt. It was like a cliffhanger of the first issue, so it was like at the very end. So I think maybe it'll mean something else as the story goes on. But the way I'm gathering, it seems like a publicity stunt. Like it'll get people talking about the comics
Yeah,
because it
that's
seems
working.
like they made the Ryan Gosling as Black Panther meme like canonical in a weird sort of way to the comics. So that's just my thoughts on that. It's just
Yeah, having people say
yeah,
Ryan Gosling is
I think people are just I think it's just like satirizing the whole like what if Black Panther was white, since there tends to be a lot of race swapped characters from white to another person of color.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a whole thing. I don't really want to get into it now because it's kind of ridiculous, but we are going to move on to the next bit of Marvel news, and that's a photo revealed first official look at major X-Men location. So it seems like that we are going to like what people have been gathering is that we're getting a damaged X Mansion courtyard, and you know, it's we got that a couple months back, all like a damaged Sentinel and all these things, but it seems like we got a little bit more right here because you see some statues here and you see kind of like this interesting scaffolding. So it seems like we got a little bit more. A lot of people are theorizing that this will be one of two things. Either this will be a cold open for the film, like before the credits, to showcase the Fox X-Men, or at least the MCU version of their variants in this case, that it's just going to show a battle between the X-Men and a Sentinel. But some have also theorized that it's going to be Avengers versus X-Men, and it's going to take place on the X-Mansion courtyard. What are your thoughts on this? Is this a little bit too confusing for you, or do you have more substantial thoughts on what they might be planning for Doomsday?
Yeah. I mean, I guess both theories are valid. I would probably, I don't know, I kind of feel like the second might ring more true, but again, they're all predictions. But that's interesting because yes, I know we saw the Sentinel in there too, but
yeah.
Where
So because we've gotten
the movie is.
we got Unbox HD gave us a little bit of that right here. This was a couple months ago, as well as this like big like crater, as well as this damaged Sentinel. You could tell it's a Sentinel because of the this is like the neck and like chest area.
Yeah.
So there was a report from a scooper that Dr. Doom is going to use Sentinels as his secret weapon to fight the X-Men and Avengers Doomsday. But again, it's a scooper. They could be total BSing. So obviously we'll see in the long run. But yeah, I think this is an interesting little bit to people that are stoked to see the Fox X-Men in the MCU now. So yeah, whatever that may be, but keep on keeping on with X-Men-ish stuff. Well, not X-Men, but going from one Marvel thing to another. Sadie Sink, apparently she's rumored to be playing a Gwen Stacy variant in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, it's ever since she was, released in the comics, I don't know, about like 10 years ago now, that Gwen Stacy is Spider-Woman, although now going by the name Ghost Spider on another in another universe, now made popular by the Spider-Verse films. Now it seems like she might be entering the MCU, whether it's Ghost Spider or somebody else. But there was a leaked casting call. They describe it as a sharp and free-spirited woman who is strong-willed, intelligent, and not easily intimidated, and will also have a mysterious past. A lot of people have rumored that she was a variant of Mary Jane Watson or actual Mary Jane Watson, and the Michelle Jones thing is just whatever. Some say she was Jean Grey, and some say she was gonna play Black Cat, or Mayday Parker, the child of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, would be coming into this universe. Now, of course, our least favorite scooper, Jeff Snyder, mentioned that he's heard that Sadie Sink is actually playing an alternate universe Gwen Stacy, but take it with a grain of salt. Thoughts on this? Do you think this would ruin the film in any way, like having Gwen Stacy part of it, like a variant if she is like the superhero version? Or do you think she's just maybe another different character entirely, or even an original character?
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, all three of those again, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Honestly, I have no clue. I'm like, maybe variant, but yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts, John?
I don't know. It's a whole thing. I kind of just don't even want to believe the rumors. I don't believe this at all because it's come from Jeff Snyder. It's entirely possible. The thing that makes sense is like she's going to be attached to Mary Jane in some way. She might be like a future version of like Mayday Parker. Like Mayday Parker coming back in time. She could be, Mary Jane Watson, but like maybe they change her name so it's not like MJ, but essentially she is that character. So that's what I'm thinking. She might be Gwen Stacy. She kind of sort of has that description, except with the exception of the mysterious past. So maybe she's an alternate universe Gwen Stacy that appeared on this earth, but she's, not from this earth. And then she gets, but it's weird how they would bring in a redhead for that. However, Bryce Dallas Howard's a redhead, and she dyed her hair blonde for Spider-Man 3. Right. So obviously we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because I actually, a while ago when they rumors about Tangled casting, I saw Sadie Sink mentioned a lot too. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess what people are seeing, maybe they're trying on some blonde wigs and are able to really see her in that character if that's what's really happening.
But I kind of agree with Enterprising a little bit. This is starting to feel more convoluted. I hope it isn't. I just want a more street level Spider-Man on the run with a target on his back. Craven the Hunter. But yeah, I just like Sadie Sink. I would just want to say she's a new love interest, whether she's an original character that takes inspiration from the OG comic Mary Jane Watson, or she's somebody else that's like either she's Black Cat, Gwen Stacy, or like more OG Mary Jane Watson, whatever it is. Yeah, I just don't want it to be like, oh, she's Jean Grey or something like that. I don't know. It's just ridiculous to me, but we've been talking about this too much. So let's move on. Next up, apparently Emily Hampshire, who famously was in Schitt's Creek, cast as Edith in the Vision Quest, although it's not being called Vision Quest anymore. I think it's just Vision Marvel series for Disney Plus. Are you aware of who Emily Hampshire is? And are you excited for this casting, or are you just kind of indifferent?
Yeah, I know of Schitt's Creek, but never watched that either, really. Yeah, unfortunately. But she's doing just the voice, right?
Yeah, it's just a voice. Like Edith was like, I don't know if you remember from Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home. Edith was the voice that was in the glasses, I think. So yeah, so apparently the character is gonna be appearing in Vision, and she's gonna be voiced by Emily Hampshire. So definitely an interesting choice, I think.
Yeah, just a little out of left field because
but it kind of makes sense. They might be with Vision, who famously has Terry Matalas show running the show now after his, after making Star Trek Picard actually good with season 3. Maybe they're kind of doing more of like a Visions, adaptation, not an adaptation, but like similar to the Tom King, the Visions comic book series, and they're gonna make her like a human, like an android, a bio android, and like they're gonna do that with Vision. So that could be really interesting.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so Vision is one of the only MCU series that has my intrigue. Yeah, I mean, I might actually watch it because of Terry Matalas, because he did a lot of great work on other sci-fi shows in the past, so he might be doing actually something really good here. So Emily Hampshire is a really good actress, so I hope they did something really, really good with her, and I hope the character of Edith is definitely more than what we think for this character. So yeah. Next up, next up is apparently, obviously, I can't play audio here, but Michael Giacchino's Fantastic Four First Steps main theme is here, and it's out now wherever you stream music. Now, are you excited to see Fantastic Four? And does the release of the main theme excite you? Are you going to go listen to it, or have you already listened to it, or what are your thoughts on this?
Did you? I think my connection is off.
Yeah, I asked.
Sorry, my connection.
I think your connection might be definitely not great, but I asked thoughts on this. If you can give your thoughts.
Yeah. Because it's the theme music.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, I mean, good that they're releasing it now ahead of the movie. Yeah, I haven't given it a listen, but I will.
Okay.
Did you able to give it a?
I didn't get a chance to listen to it before the stream, but I am curious about it, so I might go give it a listen. Although,
yeah, I mean, sometimes it does get me excited about the film when they do have a really good soundtrack.
Sounds fantastic. So yeah, I think I might go listen to this. I mean, I love Michael Giacchino. The man is one of the greatest contemporary film composers. Might be even the best in my opinion, but what he's done for a lot of other superhero films in the past, like Incredibles and Batman and The Batman, I think it makes perfect sense because his style fits the Fantastic Four
so well.
So love to hear it, love to see it, but yeah, it's gotta love Michael Giacchino. But that's it for MCU Weekly. Obviously, we still, don't worry, we still got a little bit more for the show, but that's it for now. Make sure to like and comment and subscribe. But that's it for the Marvel side of things. Now, get pumped because we are going to be getting into the DC side of things. We're getting into DCU Daily now, and then finally we're gonna address your comments at the end of the show as well. But get pumped for DC stuff with bringing in some Superman news. Obviously, we got to bring in Superman news, but apparently James Gunn officially removes the America from the Superman movie slogan. Now, this isn't hugely controversial as it was a couple years ago when they made the famous slogan of Superman, "Truth, Justice, and the American Way," to a truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Now, a lot of people, some people liked the more progressive change to the catchphrase. Some people didn't. Like myself, it's not like I'm not like a super pro-American. I just think like the old school values that America represents are very in tune with the character. That's why I prefer the American way, but that's just my opinion. I don't hate a better tomorrow. It just sounds a little, it doesn't roll off the tongue as much. But apparently James Gunn officially, removes the America from the Superman movie slogan. Apparently we're not going to have the American way or a better tomorrow. But according to a new product listing spotted by fans on Reddit, David Cornswit's take on the Man of Steel will live by the slogan "Truth, Justice, and the Human Way," doing away with the American of the classic version of the Superman rallying cry. Superman must reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way, he soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned, which is a slightly changed synopsis of what was revealed way back when. So people are asking, why did they mess with this? It doesn't sound right. What are your thoughts on this? What are your favorite of the three now? Since now there's three to choose from. Do you prefer the American way, A Better Tomorrow, or the human way?
Well, in one way, I do, at least even in the way that they're marketing this globally, I feel like it makes, sense that they would want to drop the traditional, so that way, it kind of resonates with everybody. But personally, I also do like the American way because I think nostalgia, and that's what I think of as like, oh, it's kind of the traditional, what I knew Superman was like this defender. I know, all imaginary, but of just America, and especially in that time period, I think it is kind of that when things used to be great or whatever.
Yeah,
that is kind of nice.
But they say Enterprising says, to be fair, Action Comics just had the slogan to be truth and justice. I think Truth, Justice, and the American Way was added to the radio show. I think because a lot of the stuff that was in the radio show got brought into the comics.
Yeah.
Little embellishes here and there. I think Kryptonite was first introduced in the radio show. I'm not like, this isn't, do I prefer Truth, Justice, and the American Way? Yes. But I'm not gonna lose sleep over it of having it be Truth, Justice, and A Better Tomorrow. It's just, for me, Truth, Justice, and the Human Way just doesn't sound right to me. Like, it doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't sound like right. It's just Human Way. It just the way it sounds together. It just like doesn't sound pleasing to the ears.
I know they had like a reason that they were like, oh, this is why it connects to the human, but too, because he's superhuman, it just seems like a weird thing for him to say. I don't know. That's my take.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting way to take it. I don't love it, but I'm not gonna. Yes, okay, so yes, Enterprising confirming what I was saying. American Way was added from the radio show. A lot of things were added from the radio show. Same with the Fleischer cartoons. They added like more of him like flying because it was easier to animate, so that became, his powers in the comics. Yeah, even the Max Fleischer Superman cartoon was just Truth and Justice. I think A Better Tomorrow does sound okay. I just prefer American Way, but Human Way just does. I would say you should have just stuck with the news. I think it just should have stuck with the new slogan with A Better Tomorrow, because that's what it is. That's what it's been for the past 5 or 6 years. So I don't know, just a weird change that I don't think is necessary, but whatever it is, I think it's fine. So apparently, Kevin Smith, one of the biggest like pop culture nerds in recent memory, Kevin Smith praises James Gunn's really effing smart take on the Man of Steel. So Kevin Smith was speaking to Deadline and said after watching the latest trailer, he already finds James Gunn's upcoming Man of Steel movie really effing smart. By showing it from the perspective of like a journalist grilling him, especially if it's Lois Lane, that's adorable. But making him answer for all the things that when they created the character, nobody ever once thought about. But now we live in an era where you can't just do something good without being political as well, which is unfortunately very true. It's a smart sell on the movie, man. I think it's going to make so much fucking money. Kevin Smith's take is likely based on the moment from the trailer where we see Lois Lane interrogating Clark about his actions. While he points out that he stopped a war, she clarifies to him that he made that happen by illegally entering a country. Smith went on to say, and there's this theory that I didn't come up with, it's been around forever, where whether Batman or Superman is ascendant and dominant in the culture has everything to do with where we are as a country. So when times are good for Americans and prosperous, oddly enough, Batman is the dominant character because Batman is a dark fantasy about everything going wrong. And then the flip theory of that is Superman is ascendant whenever the country is doing poorly or it needs help. And that's when that character plays the strongest. So it would feel like, based on that, like Superman, the stage is set for that movie to make so much effing money. People want to hope right now people just want to believe in a effing thing, man. I would agree with that. I don't know who came up with that theory, but that makes a lot of sense considering when was Batman huge? Batman was biggest in the 90s and the 2000s, aka like when like kind of like, well, it started in the 80s, but then it kind of, you know, went down a bit. Like it was like in the 80s, like the Cold War was still going on in the 80s, and then in the 90s, sorry, not the 90s, but I was mainly talking about the 2000s. I fucked up my own theory, but then in the 90s, Batman started to like deter a bit. Yes, we still had Batman the animated series and stuff like that, but the movies kind of went downhill a bit. And then Superman the animated series, Justice League, and all that was kind of on the rise. And then, you know, 2001 happened, and then Batman became like this huge thing. It was like a whole, it was definitely that's definitely a very interesting theory. Everything was going right in the 90s. Like there was no Cold War, there was no World War. We were kind of just with ourselves, so Batman was really popular. And then 2001 we had like, you know, that, but like things were still kind of okay, so you had the Batman stuff. So it's definitely a very interesting theory. I think there is some truth to that. Yes, I think his fame really took off in the 80s. Yes, that makes sense. I mean, 1989 was when he became super popular in the mainstream media again, with the Stark betrayal. So I think there is some credence to this. I kind of screwed up how I was explaining it. I do apologize for that. But what I was trying to say, in the 90s, everything was going right. Batman was popular. Then now everything is going wrong, and
Superman. No one wants to watch. It's just not the Batman mood right now.
I'm not saying like, oh, Batman sucks or nobody wants to watch it. I'm just saying like people want to. People want to believe in something. Yeah. People want to hope again. So I think there is some credence. I know it's easy to, crap on Kevin Smith. He's kind of talks too much and is a little annoying. But I think that he does. I mean, there's a reason. He's written for a lot of comics. He does know what he's talking about. I think he does have some smart takes. I think he cries a little bit too much. That's okay to cry. I'm just saying he does a little bit too much. Yeah, I think there is some credence to this, and I think it's definitely very interesting. So yeah, I think that's a really good theory. And shows off something interesting with these two characters that are so big, and not just in a DC case, but in a pop culture zeitgeist kind of way.
Right.
So I really like that.
It's really clever.
But another quick thing that we want to mention real quick, but Superman gets arrested a lot. Like, man, like we have Dean Cain, Henry Cavill, and David Corn Sweat all getting arrested. Thoughts on this little bit? I know it's just kind of like a cute, like,
it's a good comparison. Yeah, I like it.
But like quick thoughts, like anything like interesting, like,
well, yeah, I mean,
is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It just goes to show that even, you know, the best superhero is in the eyes of the beholder. If he's seen as doing the wrong thing or doesn't fit in with society, they're just gonna lock him up. So stinks for Superman.
It's definitely an interesting portrait. Yeah, most definitely, and very, very, very interesting.
But I also like too. You can really see it highlights how our new Superman. I just love his color. I mean, Man of Steel is so sad.
Yeah, and then I also love like Dean Cain. It's just like you have all these like kind of. You have the firefighter that's in yellow, but like all these kind of series, and then like boom, blue spandex, boom, blue. It's just like in a haze of, you know, non-blueness and all that as well. But continuing with Superman talk, we're going to be talking about popcorn buckets, guys. Apparently, a lot of people are wondering what the heck is the popcorn bucket going to be. We got a reveal a couple days ago with the Fantastic Four popcorn buckets and everything else is going to be. People are still hankering for Superman. So what are we going to get? Well, we've gotten some stuff. The View theater chain shared information about a new round of merchandise for the film. And they are a British theater chain. Apparently, they are releasing a popcorn machine bucket. It looks like a popcorn machine, and Superman is breaking inside of it. And in addition to that, they have light up cups, a traditional popcorn bucket, and a gripper cup with a cape. So that's definitely interesting. What are your thoughts on the View theater chain with all these little knickknacks and paddywhacks and all that?
I mean, I guess you learn something new every day. I've never heard of the View chain, but I like what they're doing. I like their design concept. I think it's really cute. I mean, it doesn't make popcorn, does it?
No, he says it's without popcorn. This is just
it's just
like
a
just a
little
container
decor
to put in.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I will say the light up cups look cute. And the gripper cup, I would want that gripper cup.
It's a cool cup.
And the regular popcorn bucket, like it looks like a good size. But I gotta say, popcorn machine bucket, I think is a little bit lazy. Like it's just like, oh, it's just a popcorn machine, but it's like Superman's trying to get inside, or he's like heating it up. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of lazy, kind of boring.
It's not my favorite that I've seen. That's for sure.
Yeah. But whatever it is, not for me. But the next one, apparently, this is the next popcorn bucket that was allegedly revealed that apparently we're getting the S logo. Now we don't know if this is for a theater chain, if this is just something you can buy like from a store, or like the vibe I'm getting, this is like not like going to be available in like AMC and stuff like that. It's
like
just going to be like something you could buy from a store, like from Target or something. As well as, you know, they have popcorn buckets and Cape cups and all that. You know, I think this one's okay. Like, again, I want the trunks to be the popcorn bucket.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. See, I feel like this one's even lazier than the other one.
Yeah. It's just the logo. But you know, Enterprising says it's fun, and Kyle, hello, nice to see you. I think we're getting into some of your comments later on in the show, Kyle, so stay tuned for that. And then, you know, they also have these, which is like, you know, like more like a hexagonal popcorn bucket, some cute cups, and got crypto and all that. I don't know. It's just like it's okay. Like they're all okay. It's just like I expected more. And especially with how creative and innovative the Fantastic Four ones are. If this is like the best we're getting, it's kind of a shame. I hope this is just like available from a store and it's not going to be like AMC or Cinemark or Regal, because this is, I feel like this is kind of lazy, kind of boring. These are a little bit better, but still not great in my opinion. So I think hopefully these are fake and we can actually hopefully we can get some better popcorn buckets for the future. But going on from one popcorn bucket to another, apparently Canada, too bad Ron isn't here, but according for Cineplex movies in Canada, their popcorn bucket looks like this. And it looks like a newspaper stand. Which is way more creative. I mean, I still want the trunks, but this is easily the best one out of all of them.
I love it.
Like, without a doubt. I love
this. It's a good quality. Like,
that's great. Like, really going in the journalism angle. I feel like they don't go into that angle enough with Superman. So the fact that they're doing it here is really awesome.
Love it.
I think this is very cool. It's cute. It's great. You know, but yeah, this is awesome.
I like it. That's a little detail, like the 25 cents.
Yeah. Per copy, Metropolis, and then you have like Daily Planet, Superman, and then you open it up and you get your popcorn. Honestly, Ron, if you're watching this later, get me one of these. I'll pay you back, I swear. But like, this is like so much better than those other ones. This is the best one out of all of them.
That's a shame, honestly.
Yeah. Good. But moving on to Superman's marketing, apparently, according to the Hollywood Reporter, DC Studios and WB could spend as much as $200 million alone on the global marketing campaign of Superman compared with the usual 150 million for an all-audience summer tentpole. What are your thoughts on this? Does this make sense with the whole Summer of Superman shtick, or do you think this is a major mistake and it's going to flop with that much money attached to it?
Ooh, I mean, I've been doing really great marketing. So I think it's probably, and they're doing this tour. I feel like it's going to pan out for them. It's just getting more and more people kind of catching on to the Superman summer bug, I hope. Of course, I could be wrong and things could not go as predicted, but I feel like it's a good investment because we do want people coming out to see this. But I think it is smarter to at least get it out there than to have less marketing and chance that it won't get seen.
Yeah.
But it is a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is, I mean, it makes sense. It feels like WB and James Gunn and all these guys are really confident in this movie, and I hope it pays off for them. Most definitely. But the next bit, so something massive is headed to Metropolis, and there's only one source you could depend on. Stay vigilant. And so, this is talking about, obviously, a Daily Planet, talking about the like being the I don't know what the word for it is, but the headquarters in Superman, apparently it's going to be brand new. So like that's the whole thing with like I feel like they're moving from whether this happens in the movie, but it seems like Daily Planet is getting a new headquarters in the movie, or it's just recently moved. So just an interesting little lore drop, interesting little bit. And thoughts on this? I'm just curious. Does it mean anything to you, or do you think this is just like a whatever kind of thing?
I mean, it's real. I know they're just trying to not give away too much, but it is. I mean, it's really tiny. Seems kind of insignificant. Although maybe it is major to the plot. But yeah, but it's cute. I mean, it's always. I mean, it's still good marketing for sure.
Yeah, I think. It's JB is so Nico was talking about when we were talking about the marketing earlier. I think that isn't just for the film, but the whole Superman brand, including the merch. That could be entirely possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean the marketing. Yes, I know what you meant. But JB is also saying, he thinks this can make $1 billion, so that's definitely really cool. But JB also mentioned something else. Does anyone else think that the Daily Planet building will be toppled? Because we did see in the trailer that we saw a building start to go down. And do people think that that is, in fact, the original Daily Planet building, and that happens early on in the movie, and they're gonna be moving to a new place in the movie later on, and that's what this is in reference to? What do you think?
I feel like it would have been my initial thought and reaction to this, but because that's what I feel like too is going to happen. I feel like this could just be a clue to confirm that theory that is the building we see, and they will need a new home. So that would be kind of funny if that was it.
Yeah, I think it definitely means something more than what we think. So maybe this is a lore drop, maybe this is a tease for something. So obviously we'll see. No, it's not Luthor Corps. We already know what the Luthor Corps building looks like, and it's more modern than the one that gets toppled. So but Enterprising says it's possible. It's possible. So moving on to the last bit we have something from Perry White. People of Metropolis, welcome to the Daily Planet. My staff and I are dedicated to providing you with concise and accurate reporting in a city awash with misinformation and sensationalism. In a world where dogs can fly and men have heat vision, our greatest strength is providing reliable journalism that informs and serves the public. Buckle up and enjoy, readers. So I think this is great to see, because that is something that in this day and age, when we are plagued with so much misinformation, it's interesting how that is going to be touched upon in this movie, when journalism is a very important part of the Clark Kent and Lois Lane characters. And do you think that's a good way to showcase in the Superman movies, or do you just care about the Superman action and just think they should focus on that?
No, I really like this. And again, I kind of, with that whole theory about Superman and Batman, and him talking about when Kevin Smith was talking about the way that he, kind of stands for something, the way he's getting arrested, the way the public kind of, it is touching on kind of what we're experiencing right now as a culture. And so I kind of like that this might kind of reflect the mirror back to us a little bit. I'm hoping it is, obviously, of course, I'm here for Superman, whether it is just action or not, but having a really strong plot that people can really resonate to and kind of reflects back on us is maybe also more than just the hope we need, but it's going to kind of give us that kind of morality that maybe we're also lacking.
Yeah, it could definitely be that. I mean, I think I really like how they're touching on this, because I know a lot of people have said in the past that they don't really touch upon the whole Clark Kent part. It's mainly the Superman part.
Yeah.
Because maybe people wouldn't be interested in that, but I think it can be interesting. It showcases the life of Superman, not just from the Superman angle, but from the Clark Kent angle.
Yeah.
Both sides. I liked how BVS kind of touched on that, even though the movie is very not great and does some questionable things, but I think for the most part, I think that's a very good way to, really try to now really focus on the Clark Kent identity. And Enterprise is saying, I trust James Gunn to deliver a fun yet emotionally compelling story. I trust him too. Even though I don't love every decision he's made, I think he's done a lot of really great and interesting things with this character so far and what we're seeing. So that's definitely something.
That's really
but we still have a little bit before the show ends. We're gonna get into your questions. Now, we do have a couple questions from you guys. I think JB had a couple questions. Kyle had some statements for us. So we're going to be getting into those right now. And the first bit that we have, the first question statement that we have is so JB, I think, is who is watching right now. So JB, there you go. See, we're showing you guys that your comments are getting displayed. So tickets go on sale next Wednesday, ? That's great. I don't know if I'll stay up and order them after midnight. However, maybe I should. Well, we would just like to say from the Oh So Curious team to you guys, get your sleep. Obviously, they're not going to go in the first hour. I think you're going to have time. So make sure to get as much sleep as you can. Don't stay up late.
Hopefully this doesn't sell out like, Taylor Swift's Eras tour will.
So yes, I'm rarely live, thanks, but it's always great to see you live. But it's also great that we are still getting your viewership after the fact, because remember, these are up. We don't pull that, typical YouTuber thing where all of our live streams are under a membership. That's just silly. So, you can still see them for free after the fact, although we might be including membership stuff, but these will never be under a membership. These live shows will always be here to watch, for you to go back to whenever we say something stupid, and you can be like, hey, you guys said something stupid. So, whatever it is. So my glasses are very blurry right now, but I'll live with it. But thank you for the comment. You're much appreciated. But again, JB, we hope you get some sleep. We don't want you, we don't want you, you need your beauty rest. So keep that up. Don't break your circadian rhythm. Get that deep sleep that you need. Just because I have a terrible sleep schedule doesn't mean that you guys should. So get your Superman tickets when you can. They're not going to go out in the first hour. I mean, that would be awesome because that would mean that the
movie's gonna do great. But yeah.
So, breaking websites and the such. I know I keep cleaning my glasses, but like the blurriness annoys me. So here we are. Got to clean the glasses, and I'm too much of a bitch for contacts. So I can't put things in my eye, even eye drops. I can't do it. That is fair. Insomnia is an MF. I do agree with that. I don't have insomnia. I just
the stress of it is going to keep you up all night. So if that is you, then just get them and then go to sleep. If it's like,
yes, but
if it's something that you can't
sleep first, Superman later. Superman wants you to get sleep, guys. But next statement we have, next comment we have. Jaminica Goodson, who I don't think has been here live. I don't know what you're talking about, LOL, because I love the Nicole Kidman ad before the movie. I feel like if I don't see it, then I'm missing a part of the movie. Also, I love the long trailers. It gets me in the movie mood. I can see that. Like, I don't hate trailers. I think I like being part of the previews, but when it's half an hour long and then on top of that, you're going to insert commercials into that, I think that's silly because I have seen, obviously it's not everyone, but I have seen enough people complain that it's just too much. It's just too much, and they don't want to see this many previews, this many trailers. I mean, I think 20 minutes should be the maximum. In addition to the breakdancing Coke ad and Nicole Kidman for all the people, AMC people like me and Dan, and Liz. But yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, I like seeing the previews. I just don't want to see like 30 to 40 minutes of previews. That's all I, care about.
I mean,
but what are your thoughts on the whole preview thing?
I always am like, okay, try to get there like 15 minutes after the showtime, because I'm always like, there's gonna be like 15 to 30, but usually I do end up being 30 minutes late to like every movie, and it's just when it starts. Sometimes I'll catch Nicole, but I feel like it's good though. I feel like it kind of gives you the option, because you kind of know, I think everyone kind of knows that there's going to be long previews. So if you can kind of maybe time it right, especially if you're able to save your seat, just, rock up when you feel like, okay, maybe I just want like 10 minutes of previews. If you want the full 30, I guess that option's there. And for those of us who just want to dip in a little late just to catch the last few, we can all be happy maybe.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have the choice. Like me and my dad, when we went to go see Ballerina earlier today, we were like 15 minutes late and we missed most of the previews, but we still managed to catch like 2.5 of them. We caught the ending of the Naked Gun trailer, the Good Fortune trailer, and the Long Walk trailer, which was great because I'm super excited for the Long Walk, and I like seeing certain trailers on the big screen. It's definitely really cool and exciting. Like, I want to see the Superman trailer on the big screen. I did, although my dad started yapping in the middle of it, and I'm like, Dad, I don't care. I want to watch Superman. But if you want to be there, I would say, however, like if the theater is like 5 minutes from your house, leave 20 minutes before so you can get your snacks and enjoy all the previews. But if you don't care, obviously you can give like a 20 to 30 minute window and then get there and then sit through what little previews are left and then get into the movie. Yeah. So I think you mentioned this the other day. Next thing you know, we get pop-ups during a movie. Like we get like an ad for like this, and that was a joke in the Simpsons movie too. So if they do start doing that, that means that, like, again, the Simpsons predicted something else. So yeah. Now that would kill the theater parts. I agree. Like pop-up ads, like, oh, like coming this summer for All Mankind season 6. It's like, why are we seeing this during F1? Stop, get out of here. But yeah. But again, to each their own. Depends what you want to do. I just think they needed to cut it down a little bit. Just not, because I remember when there was like 10 minutes of trailers, and that's it. 10 minutes. You got like 2 to 3 trailers, maybe 4 or 5, depending on what the teasers are and what the full length trailers are. That was it. No Nicole Kidman. You got like, hey, no smoking. I'm that old, guys. I remember getting no smoking ads in the theater. But no talking, none of this, no recording with a camcorder. Again, I'm that old. I was there before smartphones. I can show you guys maybe another day. I can show you guys the old what was it, Showcase Cinemas, because that's what I used to have near my house, was a Showcase Cinemas, and then that closed pre and during pandemic, so unfortunately we lost both of those, and now I go to AMC. But I could show you guys the old ad I used to get. It was great. I still remember it to this day. I looked it up. I'm like, oh, this was my childhood. But yeah, I remember getting "Don't smoke in the theater" ads. Like this was like the early 2000s too. So like, they had saying that is, remember when M&M commercials weren't so? Yeah, I do. But anyway, enough reminiscing. Let's go on to the next one. But JB again, you're on fire, sir. So keep giving us those comments. Frank Grillo could have had gray hair. I know the excuse is that he was also filming another project, but we all know there is temporary spray on hair coloring. Halloween Store has the white spray on stuff that that washes it out. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Here's what I view it as. I view it as, sorry, Bridget, did you watch Creature Commandos or no? I know you watched Kite Man, but did you watch Creature Commandos?
I didn't end up watching it, no.
Okay, that's okay. But in that show, he has gray hair. And in this movie and in Peacemaker, he doesn't. So a lot of people are like, well, the continuity. And I'm like, here's what I view it as. I view it as animation embellishment. Because sometimes in animation, you can do a lot of interesting things that don't really translate to live action, especially in a case where it's like a lot of universes and franchises don't really have the transition from live action to animation, especially like some of them have animation projects that are like spin-offs and don't have characters that were featured in the live action thing, or just live action stuff. They don't really have like characters that go from one space to another a lot of the time. So I just think it's just embellishment. Like I think it's the animation just showcases his age because they're showing like, oh, Rick Flag Sr. is much older because, Rick, we were so used to seeing Rick Flag Jr. So Frank Grillo is Rick Flag Sr. So we got to showcase he's old. But maybe people don't want, or maybe because of scheduling conflicts, maybe because of this, maybe he doesn't want to dye his hair, maybe a lot of things that he doesn't want to do that, or James Gunn felt that was a choice he didn't want to do. So we get, black-haired Frank Grillo in Superman and to a lesser extent Peacemaker, because I think he does have some graying hair in Peacemaker. But I just think that it's an animation embellishment, and that's it. I don't think it's a major continuity error. I think it's just like they're just showcasing that. Because, I mean, in this, he doesn't have a full beard. In Creature Commandos, he had a full beard. In this movie and in Peacemaker, he doesn't have a yellow shirt that he wears constantly, So there's that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just think it's embellishment. That's all. I mean, if people are like a little bit hung up about it, I can see that because they're like, oh, we want like a full continuity. But like,
want to see him come to life, maybe.
Yeah, no, I can see that. But I would imagine if they bring Indira Varma's Bride or David Harbour's Frankenstein into the live, they're not going to look exactly like their animation counterparts.
Yeah.
So I'll pretend that he was undercover. So Enterprising also saying it's more like he has small gray highlights here and there compared to the whole side of gray in Creature Commandos. True Boss saying hello, True Boss. Just for Men, boom, done. Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, like they can just explain it away. Maybe he didn't like how he looked in that, and he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna just for Men this shit.
They did have a clip of him just like touching up.
Just like that would be a good way. That that would be a funny joke in Peacemaker. Like they introduce, especially with John Economou's character, who admitted to dyeing his beard. So maybe you have John Economos coming in, and Frank Grillo is like in the bathroom doing his Just for Men, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm not doing anything," and he like doesn't admit that he's dyeing his hair. That could be really fun. And we're like, and then John Economos, they like talk for a second, and then he's like, "Also, Rick, we know you dye your hair. It's fine." He's like, "I don't. Shut the fuck up."
By the way, he uses really great color conditioner.
Yeah, he's got that volume. It's great. Dude looks younger than his age, most definitely. And Kyle saying can't wait for Peacemaker, and someone teased him about his age. Yeah, I could see that happening. But moving on to the next comment, Kyle, there you go, just in time. Just want to say you guys have been doing a great job with this podcast. I try to listen to all of DC podcasts, and yours is full of information and great humor. Superman LFG. Thank you, Kyle. This means a lot. We love entertaining you guys. We love giving our insight about DC, about Marvel, about all types of movies and shows, and even music and video games. We try to entertain all of you to the best of our ability. So I'm glad that you love it so much. Thank you for your comment. Also, Stephen Ortega, how do I post my question in the Q&A? Well, just leave a comment after we go live. Just maybe ask us a question, maybe give us a compliment like Kyle here. But that's all you need to do. Comment after the fact. So did we just solve Flag seeing your hair, Kate? LOL. Yeah, no, I think we did, True Boss. Cow. I can't do Cartman. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yes, smiley face. Thank you, Kyle, very much for your lovely compliment. It means a lot to us. So Steven, so just comment after we go live. We're going to be going off in about maybe 5-ish minutes, less. Ask a question like the question. Yes. Good old Vic Sage. Yes, we will keep it going for as long as we can. We're going to try and do DCU Daily until the DCU is not here anymore. But even then, we will do it when the next reboot comes along 10 years later. So,
always something to talk about, I'm sure.
Yep. So next up, we have the main man, who is another regular, complimenting us again, wishing all you folks at OSC the best. Superman is going to be a blast, hoping for Lobo's Space Dolphins and Supergirl. Millie's going to crush it. I think so, too. I'm still on the fence about the film because, my ongoing feud with Tom King. But I do hope Space Dolphins make an appearance. I'm glad that you enjoy the show. So yes, thanks, Dan. DCU Daily forever. But and then you know what? That would be a good if we have an opening for DCU Daily and it's me and Dan running at the camera, like at the end of Batman Forever, and then the Batman Forever music is playing. It's just like I'll take the L. I'll be Robin, since Dan probably has an ego and needs to be.
He probably already has a costume. To be honest.
But thank you, JB. Been watching since at least last year when Superman was filming. Yes, we do remember you from last year. Great DC coverage and commentary. Thank you very much. Dan's down. We'll try to animate that. I don't know. We'll try to hire somebody. I don't know if Catriona can do that, but we'll try to do that. Just that music. Anyway, yes, bat nipples are pretty great. Why did I say yes? Now we know it's official, guys. Dan loves bat nipples. I hate you. Who are you? Fuck you, Dan. Do it. Just do it. Yes, we're gonna try and do that now. If we can't, we'll go to Dan. I'll go to Dan's house. He'll have a green screen up, and we can do that. Me trying to run would definitely be hilarious, but we can try to do that. And then so thank you, Lobo, the main man, for the comment. We appreciate that. We hope Supergirl is good. I think Millie's gonna crush it. I'm still a little cautious, but we wish you the best. So thank you. Thank you very much. But that is it, guys. I'm sorry, even much as Vision says, things aren't beautiful because they last. And with that, we have to end the show. But make sure to keep this train going, like and comment and subscribe and click the bell so you know when we go live, because we went live a little bit earlier because I actually want to go to sleep on time before midnight. So, you know, we want to try and do that.
Okay.
But thank you guys for watching. Yeah, so Steven Ortega, if you want to be shown on the show, then after, you know, this goes up as a video, make sure to ask us a question or leave us a compliment, leave us any sort of comment that you want us to address, and maybe you'll be shown on the show next Friday. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. We didn't miss you guys. Don't worry, we'll miss you too, buddy. But don't worry, we'll be back Monday. That's like 2 days. It goes by way too quick. I should know because I blink and then it's Monday, and then I'm like, oh, I got to know another DCU Daily, and then I'm like, but then I get to meet all the amazing, great people. So it's like it's fine, and you know,
fun weekend.
We won't stop.
Yes.
But yes, we will zip it out. But yes, thank you for Kyle, Caleb, Monique, Steven, JB, True Boss. You have all been very wonderful, as well as anybody else I missed. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But Hunter Iggy also came in a little bit later. I think Caleb might have left. Jalen Harris was here for a little bit as well. So thank you all for watching. We love and appreciate all of you. You have all been wonderful. Thank you for your comments and thank you for everything. And remember, since Ron isn't here, I have to say, remember, fight for truth and justice and American way, human way, or a better tomorrow. So, truth and justice, guys.